Welcome. Episode 5 of the We'll Get to That podcast. It's your boy Marphil. Holla at me, man. 973 stand up. Jersey, we're in the building. So I started off the podcast, brief introduction. Episode 2 was when I started talking about the year 1992 in hip hop. Because as I stated before, I thought that was the turning point in hip hop. And I wanted to continue that, talking about every year in hip hop. And I jumped into 94, kind of touched on 96, and we'll get to, like I say, we'll get to that. We'll get to 93, 95, and one of my favorite years in hip hop, which we'll talk about a little bit later, was the year 1998, which, I think I stated before, 1996 was the greatest year music wise in hip hop. 96. 94 is close. 92 is like number 3. But 96 was a crazy year in hip hop. But 1998, I'm going to touch on that later on today. Not to, yeah, I guess today, yeah. We'll get to the year 1998. And I want to finish off by the 10th episode. I want to finish off the decade of the 90s in hip hop because that was very touching, I guess, for lack of a better term. Not touching. It was very important for hip hop. The 80s was important, don't get me wrong. Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane, KRS One, all of them, they, set the blueprint, right? And I'm not disrespecting the Sugar Hill Gang and none of them and whoever came in the late 70s, shout out to the Sugar Hill Gang, Jersey stand up, but the 90s was the golden era in hip hop. And we're not talking about record sales, we're not talking about any of that. We're just talking music. There's so much fucking music that came out in the 90s. And also, I want to touch on shout out to everybody who support, shout out to everybody who will support, shout out to everybody who did support. Um, Thank you guys. I thank all you guys, man. I do curse a lot, so it's not safe for work. And if you got headphones on, it is safe for work. If you're riding the whip, listening, I appreciate that. If you're just sitting in the crib cleaning up, listening, I appreciate that too. So, with that being said, we're going to touch on the year 1998 in hip hop, right? So, in that year, we're just music. It's not just hip hop. We want R&B too, kind of a little bit, right? 1998 was a very important year, and the reason I say that is because he wasn't the first to go platinum. I don't think, right? And if you don't know who I'm talking about DMX. DMX dropped 2 albums in 1998. And this wasn't he dropped at the top of 1998 and then dropped at the bottom of 1998. Now, he ain't dropping the first and the fourth quarter. DMX dropped 2 albums in 1998 in a matter of 6 months. That is crazy. Crazy. Both went platinum. DMX is on fire. DMX is on fire. And I remember hearing DMX for the first time. The first time I heard DMX was the 4321 with LL Cool J, Method Man. Um, Master P was on the remix. LL Cool J, Method Man, Redman, and Cannabis. Cannabis had the last verse on there too. And it's kind of sad what happened with with LL and Cannabis. Wyclef kind of set him up a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. But X verse on there was like, oh shit, who is this guy? This guy's pretty dope. This guy's pretty dope. Then I had to do some, backtracking on him, and he did a song. I want to say with Onyx. I think it was an Onyx, like in 96, 97 or something like that. He did a song with Onyx. And it was like, okay, this guy's coming. Then here come the Rough Riders, Swiss Beats, laced him, and he dropped. It's dark as hell is hot. It's dark and hell is hot. And flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. 2 classic albums. That word isn't thrown around a lot. It shouldn't be thrown around a lot. DMX dropped 2 classic albums in a matter of 6 months. Crazy. Phenomenal. Rest in peace to X, man. He X did something that at that time was almost unheard of in hip hop. Almost unheard of. Don't get me wrong. I think Fat Pat dropped two albums in 1998 when I was doing my research a few days ago. I think it was Fat Pat that dropped two albums in '98. Right. So anyway, 1998 in hip hop. We're gonna go through this list together. And when if you are an avid music fan, right, you'll be like, okay, yeah, that's dope. But if you're an avid hip hop fan, you'll be like, yo, that's crazy. These albums I'm about to name. So we're gonna go through this list. Money, Power, Respect came in January. Top of the year, January 1998. The Locks, dope album. Classic, nah. It was a dope album. But this was the Shiny Suit era. This was before We Are the Streets. And don't get me wrong, We Are the Streets was dope as well. But that was later on. And we'll get to that sometime in the later episodes. Right? Took the Shocker drop Charger to the game. Now this was when No Limit was on fire. I remember one of my homeboys. Which all right. So I'm gonna say two things with this. I remember one of my homeboys had every No Limit CD, right? Everyone. He was copping all of them, and he had all the CD books on his wall. So if you were stationed with me in at Holloman, you remember coming to my room and I had every CD book on the wall. Shout out to Kyle, man. Kyle put me up on that, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate that. So also, Scarface dropped My Homies, Killer Priest dropped Heavy Metal, Fat Pat, that's what I mentioned earlier. He dropped Ghetto Dreams that year. Capadonna dropped The Pillage. If you guys are not up on Capadonna, if you guys are sleeping on Capadonna, like, yeah, all right, nah, bro. Capadonna, I was talking to my man, shout out to Bo. I'm going to always mention Bo and a few other people because these are the folks that I talk to about hip hop, right? Capadonna had, I think he said top 10. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong and holler at me in the comments or whatever, bro. But Capadonna had probably one of the best verses on Winter Wars in hip hop fucking history, bro. I don't know that verse word for word. I can recite probably about 90% of that verse. But that verse was crazy fire. And Bo, I'm gonna retire fire. I'm gonna retire the word because not everything is fire, like you said. But Capadonna verse on Winter Wars, if you've never heard it, go check it out, bro. It was crazy. All right, so back to the year 1998. Daz Dillon just dropped the album. Gangstar dropped Moment of Truth. Fuck, that was a dope album. Smith and Wesson dropped the album. AZ dropped Pieces of Man, another dope album. I never listened to Fat Pat like that, but apparently Fat Pat was that dude because he dropped two albums in 1998 too, and both of the albums were at the top of the year. Well, first and second quarter, right, of the year. Goody Mob dropped the album in '98. Big Daddy Kane dropped the album in '98. Capital Punishment came out in '98. Now this is this is where the important how important '98 was for hip hop, right? Big Pun. What are we talking about, bro? One of the top lyricists ever in the game. Breath Control, all of that. Like Big Pun was that dude, right? I ain't gonna try to disrespect him. The He Got Game soundtrack dropped in '98. Ruckus Records dropped that compilation album in '98 as well. DJ Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince. We already talked about DMX, what he did. Snoop Dogg dropped two albums that year. Soldier Slim dropped Give It to Him Raw. If you're from the South, you know. If you're from the East and was listening, or from anywhere you were listening to music, then you know what that Give It to Him Raw was. 8 Ball dropped the album. Not 8 Ball and MJG, just 8 Ball. Mo Thugs, but that was after the, Bone Thugs. Jurassic 5, Lord Tariq, Peter Guns, Uptown Baby, which was, I mean, that was the anthem. One of the anthems, the summer anthem, I believe, because that came out in June. Yeah, that was the summer anthem. That was the summer anthem. Onyx dropped Shut 'Em Down. Devin the Dude dropped the album. Queen Latifah, shout out to Jersey. Big Jersey, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Def Squad, El Nino was a good album. I enjoyed that. Noriega dropped NORE in '98. Okay, wait. Hold on, wait. Now, I have to say this. And I kind of touched on Nori. I think it was the last episode when I was talking about how Nori Nori came in. He really didn't want to rap. Now, let me give you a little backstory on Nori, right? Noriega. Y'all know him as Nori or whatever. Y'all, I know him as Noriega from Capone and Noriega, right? Nori, he was a hustler. He was a pum pum too. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's why murder unit, all of that. I ain't. If you know, you know, right? Now, when Nori started rapping, he only started taking it serious because of I'm trying to think of a homie name. Fucking for free. Akinelli. Shout out to Akinelli. Akinelli had two songs that I really, really fuck with. But um, Akinelli was cool. Like he had a couple songs, right? My man, shout out to Bilal. My man used to run with Akinelli and shit. My man Bilal, he could rap too. Like I think he's still ill till this day, but I don't know what happened with the music, the business with Akinelli and all of that. But anyway, Akinelli ran up on Nori. Nori tells a story. Akinelli ran up on Nori. He was on the block. Yo, we need to get to the studio. Nori stopped hustling and started rapping. Hence, Capone and Noriega that we got NRE dope album. All right, you're welcome. Cameron dropped Confessions of Fire. Cameron is one of my favorite rappers. I don't care what none of y'all talking about that ooey gooey, bluey bluey shit y'all be on, man. If you don't, man, if you never sat down and listened to Cameron, bro, don't talk hip hop. Don't ever disrespect Flea. Flea is one of the best on the mic. This is a fact. We talking about Children of the Corn and all of that. If you don't know who Children of the Corn is, then don't talk music with me. I don't want to hear that. All right, anyway, Snoop Dogg dropped another album. Like I said, I thought he dropped two. Fun Master Flex dropped the album too. That was pretty cool. MOP, one of my favorite groups of all time. I used to go by Fizzy Womack when I was on Facebook a few years ago. Now, for those who don't know, Fizzy Womack is Lil Fame. Lil Fame is his rapper name. Fizzy Womack is his producer name. And yeah, so get up on MOP if you never got up on it before. Biz Markie dropped the album. Lauryn Hill dropped the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I gotta take a drink to that. Hold on. Lauryn Hill dropped the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Enough said. I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna dive deep into that. Dark Cartagena came out that year. Let me see. Where we at? Big Thomas dropped. Razzcast. Razzcast, another one who a lot of people don't talk about, but he's dope. Black Star dropped. Jay dropped Volume 2. Now, we go back with Jay, right? Reasonable Doubt. If you could go back further if you're into this hip hop shit, right? You could go back Hawaii Soki fame, right? With Jay. This is the late 80s. Then he dropped Reasonable Doubt in 96, then dropped or 95. 95, 96, and then dropped volume volume 1 came out. Now a lot of people didn't like volume 1. Looking back on it, volume 1 was a dope album. Volume 2 was when everybody else heard Jay-Z. When I say everybody else, I'm talking the masses. I'm not talking about just, the East Coast and a few people down south, few people in the West. You know what I'm saying? A few people in the Midwest knew who Jay was. Nah. Volume 2 is when everybody found out who Jay was. Dope album. Equipment I came out. Enough said. I'm not even gonna I'm not I'm not taking no disrespect about equipment now, so I'm pressing on it. PM Dawn dropped the album. 98 was packed with albums. Right? Coogee Rap. Yeah, we're gonna press on. Because if anybody says anything weird about Coogee Rap, then that tells me that you don't appreciate hip hop. Coogee Rap is one of the pioneers, hands down. No matter what old girl said to her book, if you know, you know. Ooh, speaking of the South, we kind of touched on it, right? And I remember when 400 Degrees came out. Oh gosh, Mia X dropped the album prior to, right? 400 Degrees, Juvenile, classic. It's not close. I can't retire fire. I can't retire the word. 400 Degrees is fire. 5 fire emojis. 5 of them. 5 mics. You understand what I'm saying? 400. Man, all right. Whatever. I'm gonna press on. Pete Rock dropped Soul Survivor. Ghetto Boys dropped The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Ice Cube dropped War and Peace Volume 1. Get up on that, man. Method Man, my favorite. Okay. Method Man is my favorite rapper of all time. My favorite rapper of all time. I will put Method Man up against anybody. Don't matter who you name, and I think he will rap circles around him. I might have mentioned that in the first episode, but I'm mentioning it again just so you know, motherfuckers. All right. Tupac Greatest Hits drop. We're in December now. Like I pressed on I went over a lot. Redman dropped, Docs the Name 2000, Busta Rhymes dropped ELE, which was a cool album. Mystical drop. Ooh, Mystical, man. It's a damn shame what the fuck happened to Mystical, man. And Southside Players, ASAP Rock. Okay, cool. So 1998 was a crazy year in hip hop. Crazy year in hip hop. It is comparable with 1996. I would put, now that I think about it, because I think I put 94 under 96. Now that I think about it, I think I will put 98 1A, 1B. Obviously, 98 being 1B to 1996 hip hop. 98 was a crazy year, bro. That was that was a nice year, man. Nice year in hip hop, man. Been Around the World was out. Looking at Me, Dangerous, Turn It Up. Those are two Busta Rhymes songs. That was off of When Disaster Strikes. Ghetto Superstar, Hard Knock Life, Money, Power, Respect, Victory. Oh my gosh. Pac dropped Do for Love. This is 98. He dropped. Obviously, he died in September 97. Still Not a Player. Come on, what are we talking about, man? If you think I'm jiggy, Get At Me, dog. Super Thug. Man, please. Oh, Beastie Boys dropped the album that year, too. So, yeah, there that is. 1998 was a crazy year in hip hop. It was a dope year in hip hop. If you appreciate the music, you should go back and spend some time in that year. You should always go back and spend time in music. Because it's not to say the music that's dropping now is trash or anything like that. I can't relate to a lot of it for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason why. I don't know why I can't relate to a lot of this music that's coming out. Don't get me wrong, like there was some albums and songs since I don't know, because I'm in my 40s, right? So there was some albums and songs since 2015 that I rock with outside of the Drakes and the J. Cole's and the Kendrick Lamar's, and shit like that. I'm a real big Currency fan. I'm a real big Freddie Gibbs fan. I'm a real big Rick Ross fan, and I think those three have been the most consistent outside of the Drakes and the Kendrick Lamar's and the J. Cole's. Those three have been the most consistent since 2015 musically. If you don't believe me, go to Apple Music, Spotify, just click top songs and let it rock. You'll believe me then. I promise you. I promise you'll believe me then. And with that being said, right, I was I was thinking earlier, not earlier, earlier this week. I was thinking to myself. I said, Virginia produced the state of Virginia produced Timbaland. They produced Missy Elliott, the Neptunes, right? Three three of the greatest songwriters and producers that we've had in hip hop and R&B, right? Hands down, it's not close. I'm talking like top 10, and Missy, Timbaland, and Pharrell, or not Pharrell, and the Neptunes are all in there, right? So I got to thinking to myself, right? Who were the best producers? Not named Dr. Dre, Premo, Pharrell, or Ye, right? And I wrote up a little list. These are like, this is in no order, and when I say these names, it's going to register. Scott Storch, RZA, oh my gosh, Jay Dilla, Pete Rock, Just Blaze, Q-Tip, Swiss Beats. Even though Swiss Beats got very repetitive after from like 99 to like '04, it was like the same Swiss Beats beat. But Swiss is up there because Swiss laced a lot of folks, and he was lacing folks for years after that. Havoc. Hmm. I did mention Q-Tip. So I won't go into the history. There is some history with Q-Tip and Havoc. I will say this: Prodigy was the producer. Havoc was the rapper. Prodigy taught Havoc how to produce. Havoc taught Prodigy how to rap. Do what you will with that. Do what you will with that. No ID, DJ Quick, Track Masters. I was like, oh man, like this best producer list is crazy. And I'm a backtrack to Virginia producers, right? Like folks who behind the boards, right? Who make the beats. Right? And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Alchemist was dope. Alchemist is still dope. Alchemist is still dope till this day, right? Heat makers. If you don't know who the heat makers are, the heat makers like that dipset sound that you heard for 10 years. Oh my gosh. Man, you thought Ye sample, you thought Dre sample, man, the heat makers made some joints, bro. They made some bangers. They made some bangers. Back to Virginia producers. Now, I'm going to list the songs. I'm going to list these songs. Also, Virginia produced Teddy Riley too. So you do with that as you will. But I'm going to list these songs, and I guarantee by the end of this, you won't guess who this producer was. I know. I'm almost positive. Don't Leave Me, the Blackstreet joint, right? Like, oh shit, that was Teddy Riley. Now he had some help with that one. He had some help with that one. He produced for Tevin Campbell. He produced for Corrupt. You got The Wonderful World of Caesar Leo, which is one of my favorite albums as well. He produced two songs off this album. I ain't gonna say his name yet, but when I get to this one song, which is probably, I want to say this is one of my favorite songs that he produced, and this is one of my favorite songs from one of the most consistent rappers since 2015. All right, but we'll get to that. He produced for Lil Mo. He obviously produced for Missy Elliott because he's from VA, right? Crazy, right? Beanie Siegel, Raw Enough Couldn't Ride for Mine, right? He produced on The Dynasty, 1-900 Hustler, You, Me, Him, and Her, right? He produced on HNIC. If you don't know what HNIC is, that's the Prodigy album, dope album. He produced on AZ Nine Lives, another dope album. The Angie Martinez joint, another dope album. Shout out to Angie Martinez, man. I like how she's been around for a long time. Drop that fucking what was that? Drop that fucking Tupac interview, Angie. Stop bullshitting with us, man. All right, Jay Z. He produced "The Ruler's Back," "All I Need," and "Mama Loves Me." Mama loves me. Pop left me. All right, yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You should know. He produced "Lights, Camera, Action." He produced for Faith Evans, Nate Dogg, Eve, Exhibit, The Boot Camp Click, Jizza, Cool G Rap. This is in 2002. So we are back in the two. I started early. I started like 97. So this is like '02. All right, rock with me, man. Rock with me. For a minute, he produced for State Property, Freeway, obviously, Loon. I said Nate Dogg already, I think. Dave Hollis, the Bow Wow. Jin. If you don't remember Jin, Jin is that Asian. I want to say he was Chinese. Yeah, Chinese dude from One Sister Park, Freestyle Friday. Like he was killing that. Hold on, I gotta take a hit of this hookah. Sorry about that. He was killing that Freestyle Friday. He dropped the album. I think Swiss signed him. He dropped the album and went double wood. It was crazy. Anyway, he produced on the Beat Coming again for Beanie Siegel. He produced for Memphis Bleak. Jay-Z, Memphis Bleak. LL Cool J. Jaheim. He produced on the Ghetto Classics. Royce the 5'9". A. Marie. Y'all know who I'm talking about yet? Cassidy. Y'all still know who I'm talking about? All right. He produced Rick Ross in '08, right? And it was like, okay. Joe Button, Method Man, right? Kanye West. He was a co-producer or the only producer. No, he was a co-producer on Devil in a New Dress. Oh, one of Rick Ross' best verses. Shout out to Ye for making Rick Ross go back into the studio 2 or 3 times to perfect that verse. That verse was, I ain't gonna say it was top 10, top 15, top 20, but that verse is one of the best verses from Rick Ross. Hands fucking down. Top 5 Rick Ross verses. One of the best songs I've ever heard in my life was Devil in a New Dress. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. Produced for Bishop Lamar. He produced Jake. He produced on Friday Night Lights, the J. Cole mixtape. All right. Y'all still don't know? Produced for Jamie Foxx. Jadakiss, uh, Currency. Oh, he produced Currency. I didn't know that. I'm running through the list right now because I'm waiting to get to the song. Right? Pusha T, Wrath of Kane, another dope joint. Stat Quo, he produced Rick Ross again. Mad Skills, which I talked about Mad Skills, and I'm gonna touch on Mad Skills. I was talking to my man. Shout out to Bo again earlier this week, and I think I overstepped my boundaries when I said Mad Skills got one of the best pens in the game. He was one of the best ghostwriters. Now, to compare him with Jay and Nas and all of them, I kind of stepped out a little bit. So, I'm gonna retract that statement. I apologize for that one. All right, I ain't apologizing, but I take that one back. Anyway, this guy produced Santorini Greece, which is probably one of the. Oh my gosh! If you ever get, oh my bad, I'm watching Indiana Milwaukee game right now. I don't know, these motherfuckers been wanting to fight since game one. I gotta take another sip. Bobby, yeah, Porter Jr. be wild. He always Portis Jr. He always want to do some dumb shit. Yeah, he fuck it. That's why Chicago let him go, bro. Because he punched the fucking teammate. Anyway, I'm gonna get to that. I'll touch on that later. We'll get to that. Santorini Grease is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. He also produced on The Care Package, Dreamville, Certified Lover Boy, Do or Die 2, second AZ album. Not second, but part 2 to Do or Die, which is a dope album. Anthony Hamilton joint. If you don't know who I'm talking about Bink. Bink needs to be mentioned with one of the greatest producers, with the list of greatest producers. Whether that's top 10, because he's not top 5. Depending on who you talk to, he could be top 5, I guess. But he's definitely top 15 of all time. Easy. Folks need to talk about Bink more often than they have. Shout out to Bink, man. That boy, man, that I ain't gonna call him a boy. That man produced some dope albums, man. Some dope projects, some dope songs. And if you haven't heard of Bink, you need to get up on him ASAP, man. You need to get up on him. You need to get up on him, man. Hey, so also I was listening to the Mozzie album that came out. I don't know when it came out. If it came out last week or the week before, but I was rocking to it, man. Mozzie, and I made a post on my IG. Mozzie got one with the album. I really like it. It's a dope album. Mozzie is consistent. He's consistent too. Another one. If you don't know who Mozzie is, he's from Sacramento. Excuse me. He's from Sacramento, man. He's been in the game for like 10 years now. He's now signed to Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti signed to Yo Gotti. He might still be signed to Yo Gotti. I'm not sure, but he went down for like a few years ago. Came back, dropped the album, and I want to say this is his second or third project since he's been home. I'm talking about the Mozzie album. Don't get me wrong, the Mozzie album's dope. Tsu Surf, big jersey, big big jersey. Shout out to Tsu Surf, man. I can't wait. I can't wait till he comes home because of the music I know I'm going to get from Tsu Surf. Tsu Surf is a battle rapper. If you don't know who he is, probably the most popular battle rapper now, even though he's been down for the last 3-4 years. Tsu Surf kind of, I ain't gonna say he fell off, but he kind of went through a little slump while battle rapping. In like 2015, 16, 17-ish, or something like that. Boy, when he came back on that stage for URL, man, Tsu Surf was killing. And Tsu Surf always put out good music on the back end. He always put out good music. If you never listened to the House of Virginia series, you need to check that out. Tsu Surf is I want to almost call him a poet, almost, because he has like lyrics and shit. They're not like bar. Like I want to compare like when I talk lyrics and shit like that. I personally don't consider Tupac like a lyricist. I consider Tupac a poet. Like same with Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys are poets. Like a lot of this is just for me. This is just my personal opinion. A lot of it is just spoken word on a beat, and then kind of put a put a little twist to it here and there, a little lyricism here and there. But When I want to hear something like some shit to either A motivate me or B bring me into their world, I'm gonna listen to Pac, Nas, Scarface, and the likes. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say they pen game isn't official. It's to say that I think they're. I think if they take the words off the beat and just go to a one of those sessions, it would produce the same feel. You know, and I think Tsu Surf is up there with them. Tsu Surf, his pen game is dope, man. I mean, I don't even know how old he is. I'm gonna say he's like in his mid 30s. You know, so from a youngin. I don't know why it took me so long to say that, but from a youngin, he always had a pen game. I've been fucking with Tsu Surf for a minute, man. But his verse on the Mozzie album, on the phone from jail, crazy. That was a crazy verse, man. Shout out to Mozzie, man. I hope he gets the recognition he deserves for that album, and I hope Sue Surf gets the recognition he deserves for that verse. Right now, that's considered for me verse of the year so far. It's April, in April, verse of the year so far, hands down, hands down. I actually not went to, but I reached a point in my life where I don't um, listen strictly to hip hop, right? R&B, reggae. Obviously, I'm from Jersey, Haitian. Shout out to all my Haitians and shit, right? Um, Alternative, rock and roll, country music. Like I've been dipping and diving into all of this, and I recently found a genre of music called yacht rock, and I went through the yacht rock playlist, and I was like, "Oh man, I know all of these songs. I didn't know that was a genre of music." And I'm not. It's not. I don't think it's all like white folks and shit. I do think that yeah, it's mostly. But some of the if you type in yacht rock, like yacht, like a boat, right? Yacht rock in your Apple Music or Spotify play search bar, and just let it play. I guarantee you know 95% of those songs. I didn't know that was a genre of music. I love that genre of music. Shout out to Bo again for the No Rap on Sundays. I try to play that on Sundays to try to so I will listen to hip hop. You know what I'm saying on Sundays. So shout out to Yacht Rock, man. Um, Dope genre of music, man. Dope songs. I really appreciate that. I really really do. So yeah, that's that, man. Basketball, man. We're in the NBA playoffs, first round of the playoffs, man. I have a problem with a lot of these basketball players, and my issue is I don't have a problem. Two things. I have a problem with basketball players on the court begging for calls, and to the point where they're begging for calls and not getting back on defense, and or I just don't like that. They got to stop that shit. All of them. Stop begging for calls, please. Oh shit, Anthony Hamilton had a song with Lil Jon. I didn't know that. I gotta add that to the playlist. Anyway, they need to stop begging for calls. I'm not a fan of that. They also need to, and I'm. It's not a shot at Steph Curry. I hate to disrespect one of the best shooters, probably the best shooter of all time. But Steph Curry kind of fucked up the game of basketball, and I say that because I watched. I forgot what game it was I watched yesterday, but I watched them go back and forth 4 possessions. I'm talking 2 possessions, 2 possessions per team, 4 possessions, and they all took 3 pointers. All of them missed it. Bro, all of y'all not 3-point shooters. I don't care what you're doing in practice. I don't care if you're going 50, 60, 70% in practice, G. Stop, man. What happened to the mid-range game? No more Sean Livingstons, no more Tony Parkers, no more Manu Ginobili's. Like we're not doing the Chris Paul. We're not hitting the mid-range. Yeah, y'all don't know how to shoot a fucking 10 to 18 footer. The fuck is going on? Why is fucking Pat at the 3-point line shooting a three, begging for a foul? I digress. I fucking digress. I'm not a fan of that. Little bit of controversy. Little bit of controversy. Shador Sanders. I wasn't going to touch on it, but I'm going to touch on it, man. Fuck that. Um, Fucked up what happened to him. Um, should he have been drafted in the first round? Maybe, right above some of those quarterbacks. Yeah, yeah, above Jackson Dart. Yeah, yeah. I think I told some folks that Jackson Dart does some things in the pocket that Shador Sanders doesn't do. But if we're just going by stats, right? Yeah, Shador Sanders probably should have been drafted ahead of Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. He probably should have been drafted ahead of old boy that the Brown, or ahead of Dylan Gabriel, and ahead of the guy the Steelers drafted. I think. I forget the quarterback, but yeah, he shouldn't have dropped to the fifth round. Now, a lot of folks are saying racism, shit like that. That wasn't racism, bro. The NFL doesn't care about his NIL money or anything like that. They don't care about them. You know what that was? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you exactly what that was. And this is my personal opinion. It doesn't make it fact, but I want it's positive. This was telling Deion Sanders, my guy, you need to shut the fuck up. It's sad. It's sad that they used Shador Sanders to as a message to Deion Sanders. I think that's what that was. It's not a fact of they didn't want to deal with Deion Sanders. It's a you're not that guy. You probably think you're that guy, but you're not that guy to tell the NFL what the fuck we're gonna do. That's not happening. It's not happening. We're gonna do what we want to do. You want to pull the Eli Manning, right? You want to do the Archie. I think Archie Manning is Eli Manning dad. You want to do that, right? But you have to have certain ties in the NFL, certain ties. Not to say Deion Sanders is tied to the NFL, but there are certain ties you have to have to be able to do that. You don't have to be white. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think it's a racism thing at all. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Because Eli Manning pulled the same thing years ago. That now we call it pulling the Eli. Eli Manning was like, and his folks are like, yo, I don't want to play for the Chargers because this is what they did to Ryan Leaf. This is how the organization is. Nah, I don't want to play for that shit. I don't want to go to fucking San Diego. This was back when they was in San Diego, obviously, right? So he didn't want to do that. Chargers drafted him anyway, and then traded him to the Giants on draft day. Um, They worked that behind the scenes. They were out loud about it because I talked to my wife about it, and I might have misspoke. I might have misspoke and said they did everything behind the scenes, but everything wasn't behind the scenes. They were outspoken about. I don't want to do this, and I don't want to play for this team, and these are the reasons why I don't want to play for this team. And there's nothing wrong with that. And with Shador Sanders or Eli Manning, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, I think that Deion Sanders thought he was more tied into the NFL than he was, and they weren't taking that shit at all. Because I mean, if we like look deeper into it, what is Shador Sanders really missing, right? He's not. Did he miss out on millions of dollars from getting drafted in the first round? Yeah, maybe. Is he going to make that up? Yeah, 1,000%. He probably made that. He made that money that he's missing out on in college. He made that NIL money. He's not missing out on that. He was most of the commercials for the NFL draft. He was the commercials for the NFL draft. He was the reason why most people were watching the NFL draft this year. I don't remember the last time I watched like the I don't remember the last time I watched rounds 3 through 5 of the NFL draft. I've never watched it. I'm a Michigan fan. The Tom Brady got drafted into what, the sixth, seventh round? I didn't watch the draft to see Tom Brady get drafted. I didn't watch the draft to see Blake Corum get drafted. I watched the draft this year because of Shador Sanders, like a lot of people. You think he not eating? You don't think he ate? Boy, that boy ate. That boy ate for the last 3 days, man. He full. Don't worry about it. I don't think he's starving or anything like that. Do I think it's fucked up? Yeah, that they used him as an example. Yeah, are they using him as an example for future college players? No, no, not at all. Because they're not going to do that to Arch Manning. Is that his name? I hate to. not give him not say his proper name. But they're not going to do that to Arch Manning when he comes out next year, the year after. I think he got 2 more years to play. They're not going to do that to him. He's making all that NIL money. They're not going to do that because you're making NIL money. That's not the thing, bro. The message was to Dion. That's who that message was to. Like I say, man, it's messed up, man. But it's the way of the world, man. How many times? How many? I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that, bro. But I will say, yeah, Dion, just shut the fuck up sometimes, man. Glad that he got drafted by the Browns. His other son, Shiloh, got signed as a free agent with the Buccaneers, I believe. Yeah, I think I'm right with the Buccaneers. So there that is. Also with the draft, like I told you, I'm a big, big Michigan fan. I think I spoke on that episode 1 or 2. If you don't know, it's Go Blue. Basketball, football, hockey, baseball. Talking college anyway, right? All of that. If they got a soccer team, yeah, fucking Go Blue. You know what I'm saying? But Michigan, 3 of the top 15. Man, please. And y'all gotta look out for us next year, man. We're gonna be solid, bro. We're gonna be solid. Lakers are in trouble. I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. I think if I did touch on that, we did get to that. But Lakers and China, they down 3-1. Yeah, we'll see them in a couple next. All right, TV shows, man. Last of Us season 2 has dropped, and man, I watched the second season. Season 3, I mean not season 3. Episode 3 comes out tonight, and I can't wait for it. I'm gonna watch episode 3. Last of Us is one of those TV series that I watch week to week. And I have to watch it week to week because I'm so invested. I didn't play the video games. A lot of folks I was reading on Reddit and X, formerly known as Twitter. I was reading on there that it doesn't coincide with the video game that much. They kind of missed a few. I don't know because I didn't play the video game. I did see the video game. I saw a few folks playing it, but I never played the video game myself. So I think that's a good thing, because I don't get to judge it like a lot of folks are judging it. I just get to enjoy what they're putting out right now. And yeah, season 2 starting off fire. So if you haven't seen The Last of Us, season 2 just came out. Check that out. Alto Kings is out. It's on streaming platforms uh, legally, I think, but that's neither here nor there. Alto Kings, I want to see that Robert De Niro joint. I forgot who it's based on, but it's some gangster from back in the day. You know, Robert De Niro. You know how you do. Is that a Martin Scorsese joint? I could be wrong, but I think it's a Martin Scorsese joint. I'm not going to look it up because I don't care that much. But I do want to see it just because Robert De Niro is in it. And he's one of my favorite actors of all time. One of them. Top 10, 15-ish. Sinners. Ooh, shit. Now, I touched on Sinners last week. I didn't hear a bad thing about it. I went to go see Sinners today. You know, hold on, yo. Hold on, I got to the sip. Had to hit the hookah. Hold on. Sinners? Sinners is an easy 9 out of 10 movie. Sinners is one of the best movies I've seen in a long fucking time, yo. I can't even think of the last movie that I've seen that was that good. That was a very good movie. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. He did his fucking thing in that movie. If he's not up for a fucking Oscar this year, next year, I should say next year, because I think the Oscars are like in February or some shit like that. Whenever the fuck. If he's not up for an Oscar, we know it's up. If Ryan Coogler is not up for a fucking Oscar next year as best director, we know it's up. Whoever the soundtrack guy that Ludwig, I heard it early on the Joe Black podcast. Uh, I forget his name. The composer of that fucking movie, he should be up for a fucking Oscar. Bro, this movie was so fucking good. I don't want to touch on it. One thing I will touch on is I just found out, and I told the homies earlier. I just found out that Coogee is owned by Fubu. Crazy, so we gotta go back. If you haven't brought the Coogies back, please bring them back. We gotta bring those back. We gotta bring them back. For us biased, man. What the fuck you talking about? Sinners, very, very good movie, man. Very, very good movie. I'm glad I went to go see it. I didn't see it in the IMAX. I was talking to my little sister earlier. She said, Ryan Coogler said we should go see it in IMAX. I'm not going back to see it in IMAX. Just wait till it comes on streaming platforms and do the IMAX in the crib. You know what I'm saying? If you got the sound system, you got the sound system and a 4K to do it, then you got that. Fuck, you talking about? All right. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic and all of that. You might have heard Blaze a little while ago. He's away, so it's not gonna be like episode one where he was barking all over the place. Last topic I'm gonna touch on tonight. Thank you guys for rocking with me, man. This is a very long. This is a longer one. Anyway, last topic I'm gonna touch on tonight. Social media. I am a big fan of social media. I like social media. A lot of folks kind of jump on and jump off of social media, and I get that. But like I tell people, social media, you could tell it to your liking. If you don't want to see certain shit, I mean, granted, you're gonna see ads and shit like that. You can't help that. But if you don't want to see certain shit for certain people, fucking unfollow them or delete them. It's very fucking simple. It's your social media. It's your Facebook. It's your fucking Instagram. It's your TikTok. If you don't want to see chicks fucking shaking their ass every fucking time you scroll up or down, fucking delete that shit. It's fucking simple. I said all that to say is TikTok and Twitter, Black Twitter specifically, but TikTok and Twitter were the two best inventions of our fucking generation. If you don't know that, if you're not up to par, then you need to be up to par. And I'm not saying you should sit on TikTok for 2 hours and scroll, scroll, scroll. No, I'm not saying that. But you should pay attention to us on TikTok and you should pay attention to us on Twitter. I was following the draft on Twitter. I knew who got drafted on Twitter before they announced it on TV. You do the math on that, man. Figure that out, man. So, with all that being said, we'll get to that podcast. It's episode 5, man. Thank you guys for checking me out. I really appreciate it, man. I will incorporate music eventually. I was trying to figure that out earlier. I got this little speaker that I was trying to do it with, but I got to figure out how to incorporate it with my little tool here. And give a little intro, outro. You know what I'm saying? Might play some music in between that I don't own the rights to. But I'll figure that out. We'll get to that. All right. So yeah, check me out next week. I'll be back next week, man. I'm gonna try to do this weekly as much as I can, depending on my schedule and shit like that. So yeah, man. Holla at me, man. I appreciate y'all checking me out, man. Y'all take it easy out there, man. One.